Do you want to learn more about dashboards with Fusion Lifecycle? Coming up. Hey, I'm Tyler Beck. I'm going to take you through some of the basics of getting reports created with Fusion Lifecycle, but also how to understand your data better. Dashboards. They're perfect for visualizing 3D data. They're great for columns, pie charts. How do you get them set up though? Let's do that. First step, set them up. So in Fusion Lifecycle, at my dashboard level, I've usually got 3 charts. You can do up to 9. Let's start by just making a quick change. I'm going to add a chart. This takes me to my reports workspace. And I noticed that immediately this isn't all the reports that I've created. We'll get to that in a second. Suppliers by type. I select it. This additional chart gets added to the list, and as you can see, here's the 9 optional. Typically, people only use about 3.
If I want you to bunt, I will touch my belt buckle not once, not twice, but thrice. If I did.
These are great for keeping track day to day in a visual manner. But sometimes you need to drill down and go further, which is more often the case. So we've added a chart to our workspace. Let's explore those. I'll save it. You can see this is now a part of the select group that's there by default. When I click on any of these charts, I have a few options with the pie chart. I can right click, I can print this out just as it sounds. You can save it out as a picture file, a PDF. So now when I select it, it's going to pull these apart, allowing you to better visualize, better understand the data. Okay, so in looking at this chart, I can understand both from a numeric and even a percentage of COs by reason code. That's change orders by their reason. Number 2, let's cover how to start a report. Going into my reports workspace, I'll find all of my existing reports that are owned by me and any that I choose to share out with others. When you do a report, it's based on a workspace. I'm going to do this over the item and bill of materials. Now, can you do a report across multiple workspaces? That's something I'm going to cover more in depth at Autodesk University, as well as in the following videos. Now, when you create a report, it's based on one workspace. Let's choose item and bill of materials. Okay, the report name, this is not optional. This is how it will be cataloged. Here, I'm going to do items by life cycle. I already did one in the past, but I deleted it. Okay, the report description. This one, you don't have to fill it in, but if you want to be friendly to your neighbors, if this is a shared report or you're looking at many reports across an organization. Okay, limiting results. Obviously, when you're pulling lots of data or you're trying to just validate the report, this is maybe where it's beneficial. If you want to do perhaps a limit of 10 rows just to test this report and see that it's pulling the right data. Suppress. If you have a limited search, this is a smart selection. If you're going to have lots of column modifiers down below that naturally filters out the data, you probably don't need it. All right, private, public, and shared reports. Kind of like it sounds, this is where everyone else that's granted access to Fusion Lifecycle, they can get in and view these reports. Shared, you can share it across to other users. You can send it directly to their username. Okay, grouping. This is crucial when it comes to creating the visual charts. You can ignore this if you're just trying to pull regular data. If you'd like to see a graphical chart, this is going to be crucial. Let's do one. Enabled, we'll do it by we're going to do this by life cycle. We want to do a count. Okay, when it comes to filtering, this is a powerful tool, specifically this edit at runtime. I'm going to get into that a little bit later in the following video. I'm going to cover at AU this year. It's a really powerful tool that you can continue to modify as you go. That's next. That's in a following video. The chart type. Let's do a pie. The title, this is what's going to fall into that white space up top. Okay, we've covered how to set it up. Let's look at what happens. Let's look at number 3, the types of reports beyond those 3D graphical style. So, what is run as? Run as comes as 3 different reports in some cases, and others you'll see that it's just got 2. When it's just 2, that means it's HTML or Excel. That means that you didn't set up the enable by grouping and you didn't choose a 3D visualization type chart like this one. So let's look at the one that we just created, items by lifecycle. If I first select the chart type, it's going to bring up the 3D. You can even view this. Let's enable the rotation with a right click, and let's also view it in 2D. Okay, so when do you use these other types? So HTML is the friendliest. It's the fastest to run. It gives you the fastest report of the data that you need. We can see the production count, the working count, and it's going to be a fastest way to understand the report as well as to get that data, and you can of course print it out. If I choose to print it by PDF or do a hard copy, easy to do from there. Next is Excel, the ability to take this data and share it across the company, maybe even outside the company, work with a third party, the ability to create this data and work with it and manipulate it and bring it back in. Fusion Lifecycle, you still use Excel plenty when it comes to manipulating and changing the data, filtering, viewing, sorting. It's also a creative way for doing a mass update, for doing a mass delete in a workspace. It's useful for that export of Excel. Little tip, always create an export of each workspace ready to go so that anytime you could create that export, have that data ready to go, and you can visualize it out in a spreadsheet. Here's that export that I was talking about. The ability to visualize and get a full printout of this particular workspace, all the items with an approved manufacturer's list in this example. And here's that export. So this is always ready to go, so I could go in and make multiple changes and then import that data faster rather than doing it single line by line. And these are pretty self-explanatory. The owner who created the report, you can find them. With this click, you're going to find that user within the workspace, when it was last modified, and then some really important options over in the action column. Be sure to join us at Autodesk University, where we'll be covering lots of great breakout sessions. It's a really fun event out in Vegas coming in November. Leave a comment, question down below, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it.